Hi guys, and welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. This week I'm going to show you how we were able to cook once and eat twice. So with several of these meals, we cooked one time and we were able to turn the leftovers into a completely new and delicious meal. It's a time saver, especially for the summer months when things seem to be a little bit busier. So I hope you get some inspiration. And as always, thanks for watching another What's for Dinner video. And with that being said, we're just going to jump right on in. Hey guys, I'm getting ready to marinate this chicken. I have, this was a 2-pack from Costco, boneless, skinless chicken thighs. And I just cut them in half. This is my first time to buy this 2-pack type package from Costco. So it's 2 just like this, and you can just cut it in the middle there, and they stay sealed. So I threw one in the freezer. One I am going to marinate for dinner tonight. So I'm going to use this Italian, zesty Italian, and the honey mustard. This honey mustard is from Aldi. I absolutely love it. I've tried various other honey mustards. This one I think is probably my favorite. I don't know if I could pick it in a blind taste test, but I really like the flavor of that one. So I saw, what's the channel? Jessica O'Donoghue. I think that is where I saw the honey mustard Italian dressing mixed together for a marinade. So that's what we're gonna do. And then we're gonna try grilling these. We've never grilled chicken thighs, the boneless, skinless, but how are you gonna know if you like it if you don't try it? So I think I'm gonna add into just a little bit. I've got some chopped cilantro. So I'm gonna add just a little bit of that and let this thing marinate all day long. Okay, here's what it looks like. It smells so good. In case you were curious, there were 5 boneless, skinless chicken thighs in there. That's really more than we need. There's just 2 of us that I'm cooking for tonight. So I debated, should I do the whole thing? But I think once this is done and grilled, we will use it for other things. So maybe lunch tomorrow, or you could even dice it up to put it on a salad. So I just thought, yeah, let's go ahead and just do all 5. So I feel like we got a lot of flavor going on. So we'll show you as we get this grilled up. All right, our side, I'm going to use these extra fine green beans. These are from Aldi. I do not like frozen green beans, but I had these before. My sister made them and they were delicious. And I have made them one time here at home, but it's been a good while. So I picked these up at Aldi a while back. I'm going to use these. It says to, let me just turn it over. The instructions here says place contents of bag in a small amount of boiling water. Bring to a boil, stirring gently, reduce heat and simmer. And I pretty much did that the last time with some seasoning, so it was delicious. So my water is boiling. I'm going to add in some of this chicken flavored soup base. This is basically like chicken broth. You just add it to water. I'm going to put some of that in. This is salty, so I'm not going to add salt until the end, and I'll taste them and see if it needs it. I'll probably put some garlic powder and some black pepper, and that's what we'll have as our side. Okay, here's my chicken. It's been marinating all day. I showed you my marinade earlier, and we're getting ready to get it on the Pit Boss smoker. I've had this thing for a couple months now. We've used it, I don't know, 5-8 times. We're really liking it. So let's get the chicken on. didn't even know I had this bag in my refrigerator, but I do. So we're going to sprinkle in some bacon bits. And then we're going to take out this. It does not belong in the pan. Alright, those bacon bits are sure to add some yummy flavor. Real bacon, of course, is great. Bacon grease is great. Sliced onion, or chunks of onion, all those things are good add-ins for green beans to give them some flavor. For our homemade mac and cheese, I'm using this thick cut sharp cheddar. I was planning on grating my own, but I'm just going to go for this to be quicker. And then I have just a small wedge of this green onion cheese. It is so delicious. We get it at the Amish grocery store. And I think those are the two that I'm sticking with to go in my mac and cheese. Hey, the green beans are just about done. That's how they're looking. I've drained my pasta and I've added in the little cubes of the green onion cheese and the sharp cheddar. I'm going to put just a sprinkle of this ground mustard. I mean, just a sprinkle. Alright, not much at all. I'm going to add some butter. I'm going to give this a stir and then I'll add in the heavy cream. Alright, I'm going to let this melt. I'll give it a taste test and I'll see if anything needs to be added. Okay, our chicken is getting close to being finished and James is going to tell you about this smoker. It's also a grill, and so he's going to show you and tell you a little bit about this in case you're interested in how this works.
Yeah, so we're waiting for the internal temperature of the chicken to get up to 165 or higher for dark meat chicken. That's what we have, is dark meat on the grill. Got different temperature settings. I'm doing it on 350 today, so it bounces between 345 and 360. And it's using the wood pellets up here to actually create the flame and the heat for the smoker. And you might look at this side here, this little handle here. I'll show you what this will do. When I open it up, it's going to open up the flame to be able to come through. It'll slide here, and it slides this plate, and it allows the flame to be able to come up and kind of sear whatever meat you might be grilling. So now I'm going to open it up. The chicken's it's probably about 60-70% done right now, and now I want the flame to kind of give it a little bit of sear and the flame to lick it a little bit, just get a little bit more of a char on there. So that's what I'm going to do right there.
And then the grill also came with this temperature gauge. What's that called? Like a thermometer, a meat thermometer probe. And you can put two of them on there, so we ordered a second one, and we have that too, so that way you can have two, because it has a place for two. This chicken is smelling so good.
So right now we're just turning all the boneless, skinless thighs over to where the flame can now begin to char it a little bit. That's how we like it. And you'll probably see that probe start shooting up pretty quick.
Oh yeah.
So it's already up to 145. So I'm going to go ahead and close this lid here. And then I will wait about 3 minutes, and then I'll flip it over again for about 3 minutes, and we should be done. And it should still be really juicy and not dried out. That's why you want to keep the temperature, check the temperature of your meat so you don't dry it out. So once I get to 165, we're going to be done. It should be good and juicy.
Okay, we're going to show you plated up here in just a few minutes. Okay, and to finish these off, I put about a half a teaspoon or maybe a teaspoon of chicken, a little teriyaki sauce. So I guess technically we could call these teriyaki haricot verts if we wanted to be fancy. Teriyaki French style green beans. And then I guess this could technically be called white cheddar mac and cheese. Check it out. Here's my finished plate. Doesn't this look delicious? It smells so good, and I already sneaked a little taste of this chicken. I really, really think we're gonna like that marinade for sure. And that's a pretty easy one with honey mustard and Italian dressing. That's things that we have around here pretty often. We can make a quick marinade. All right, this is what's for dinner tonight. All right, and for tonight's dinner, we are using our leftover grilled chicken that you just saw from last night. And I just wanted to use it while it was fresh. I am chopping it up here into about bite-sized pieces. And I decided I was going to make a dish very similar to what we enjoy most from Olive Garden. James and I both love their dish called chicken scampi. And so this is a sort of rough copycat of that recipe. I really didn't look one up. I just know what comes in that, and I knew I had those ingredients. And that's the great thing about grilled chicken or chicken in general. If you cook a little bit more than what you need, there are endless possibilities of what you can do with that. So I like to call that cook once, eat twice, and that's exactly what we're doing tonight. So let me show you how I pulled this meal together. All right, now I am working on my Alfredo sauce. To my saucepan, I have butter, I have garlic, and now I have put in some flour, a couple tablespoons. And just look in the description below, and I'll have a recipe down there as kind of a general guideline for what I do when I am making Alfredo sauce. I have found that Alfredo sauce makes me think of gravy when I'm making it. So you have to start with some sort of fat. So, you know, here it's butter. When you're making gravy, it's usually oil or bacon fat or sausage fat, something like that. And then you just add in your seasonings, you add in your flour to thicken it up, and then you add in some sort of liquid. It just makes me think about when I make breakfast gravy, sausage gravy. But in this case, we have our butter, our garlic, we added in our flour, and then I'm using heavy cream, and you can see me here whisking it to make sure I am getting it all smooth. And then to that, I'm going to add in my cheese. I have shredded up the last of my pecorino romano wedge that I had, and I was glad to be able to finish it off in this dish. It was perfect. You also want to keep in mind anytime you're working with cheese, be careful on the salt that you add because cheese is salty. So I've added in my cheese. I'm going to give that a taste test to see if it needs more salt before I just randomly add some in. And my vegetables that I chopped earlier, I have added now to a little bit of cooking spray in my skillet. I'm using green onion from our garden and red pepper, and I'm just going to saute those just a little bit. I don't want them really, really broken down, but I want them just a little bit softer, and then I'm going to add back in my chicken to heat it through. Now time to boil up the angel hair pasta. It cooks so extremely quick, done in about 3 minutes, and we will be ready to get this dinner together. And here it is, guys. It wasn't Olive Garden, but it was just as good. We loved being able to use that grilled chicken. It helped this meal come together really quickly. And I even had leftover on the Alfredo sauce that I was able to stick in the freezer. It does freeze well. I've done that before. So I have that in the freezer waiting on me for another meal. And can you guess what night this is? It's Tuesday. We never have Taco Tuesday. We don't have tacos very often, but tonight it was Taco Tuesday, and I will apologize in advance for the terrible video footage. I almost forgot to film, and obviously I was doing it in a hurry. It was one of those busy kind of days, but we had some ground beef seasoned up really great with taco seasoning, some leftover refried beans. I'm going to show you that meal at some point, and then some cilantro, sour cream, green onions. It was delicious, and I had enough ground beef left over for these lunches that I'm getting ready to show you in the next clip. So Taco Tuesday, that was tonight. I want to tell you about this lunch that I've been having. I made a little bit more taco meat than what we needed the other night when we had the soft tacos. And so I have just been making sort of like a quesadilla or a Mexican pizza. I just put some cooking spray in the pan, put down my tortilla, put some of the taco meat on there, and then some cheese. And I kind of put the actually cheese and then taco meat and then cheese. Put the other one on and then just use my biggest, widest spatula or egg turner when I go to flip it. And then after it's all cooked and all melty on the inside and I take it off, I open it up and I put some shredded lettuce, some sour cream, and some taco sauce. And this has just been the best lunch for 2 days now. I have had this for lunch. Very, very good. So it's all sorts of things you can do with leftover taco meat, but this is what I have had for lunch and it has been delicious. And for this final meal that I am showing you, I am making BBQ pulled chicken in the crock pot. Super easy, and of course it goes a long way, shredded chicken does. I am mixing together a couple things here though that I'm going to pour over my chicken breast in the crock pot just to give it some added flavor while it's cooking, and I'm going to show you here what I'm putting together. Okay, in my little cup here, I've mixed together about two teaspoons of this chicken flavored soup base, basically making a chicken broth. And then I've also put about 2 teaspoons of the garlic powder. And I just kind of mix that together. I'm gonna fill it up to the 1 cup line with water. And I'm gonna pour it over top of my boneless, skinless chicken breast. All right, here's my 2 boneless, skinless chicken breasts. And in goes the brothy mixture. Make sure that I have all of it from the bottom. Sufficient. And then I'm just going to put this on high because these are frozen. And I'm just basically making some shredded pulled barbecue chicken. I'm also going to dice up some white onion and put in here in a few minutes. Or at some point. And then I'm not going to put my barbecue till later because I don't want it to be real watery. So I'm going to let this cook down and then we'll get the barbecue in maybe towards the last half hour or so. Red onion now to my cabbage and my carrot. I'm gonna sprinkle over a little bit of black pepper, a little bit of dill, a tiny little bit of stevia, and with slaw I kind of go with the less is more. When I start adding stuff to the veggies, with the mayonnaise, with the sugar, with everything, because you can always add in more, but you don't want to get too much because you can't take that back out. All right, so I'm going to put just a little bit of Miracle Whip. So that was probably about a heaping teaspoon. And I'll do a little bit more. And then I'm going to use maybe a heaping tablespoon of Duke's mayonnaise. Let's go just a smidge more. All right, and now we're gonna stir this together. And even now, like, you really can't judge at this stage exactly what happens, because once you get this in your fridge, oh, there's a big piece that I missed. I'll get that chopped up. Once you get this in your fridge and it sits for a little while, and the veggies will start to release some of the water that's in them. And that's, you know, sometimes you have watery coleslaw or something like that. That's why. After it even sits for a few days, it gets more watery, and that's just because they will let out their natural liquids. This actually looks pretty good. And you can kind of like push it down with the back of your spoon and see how it's holding together. You can kind of get an idea. Okay, check that out. It really looks pretty. I just kind of go how I feel when I'm adding in carrots, onions, whatever else with it. And this recipe is loosely based off of one I learned years ago in Weight Watchers. It was a KFC Weight Watchers copycat slaw. That's where the stevia comes in. All right, it looks pretty good. I'm just gonna give it just a little taste right now, just for first blush here to see. Tastes pretty good. I'm gonna add just a smidge more stevia. We like various kinds of slaw, but my absolute favorite is a sweet slaw as opposed to a vinegar based. All right, let's stir that in. Stevia, I feel like goes a long way, so we don't want to go too much. So there is a very, very quick slaw, even with grating the veggies myself. Very quick and refreshing summer side. All right, I just opened up my crock pot and I just took my fork gently, because I have my liner in here, and just kind of gently broke up my chicken breasts, and then I just want to push them down. You can see the onion in there, I added that in. Well, I push these down so they just stay under the broth here. Oh, fogging up, because I don't want them to get dried out, and it's not quite time for us to eat yet. So I've put my crock pot down to keep warm. And I'm just gonna basically let this chicken sit in here and continue to be soaking up this delicious broth and onions and seasoning, which was just my garlic powder. And so I'll pop the lid back on, and then I'm gonna take a look at it before time for us to eat, about a half hour, and then I may drain off some of this broth depending, and then I'll put in my barbecue sauce. So this is just gonna stay nice and moist this way. All right, and from my freezer, I've pulled out 2 packages of some buns that we just didn't finish up in time, so I threw them in the freezer, some little mini sub buns and some Hawaiian buns. Those I needed to get out of the freezer, and they're going to be perfect for this. I am going to open those up, put some butter and some garlic powder on there. I'm going to put them under the broiler and toast up the inside, and that's going to be really, really great and flavorful to serve this shredded barbecue chicken on. And here we have it. The chicken is all shredded. I've added in my barbecue sauce. I used the Sweet Baby Ray's honey barbecue sauce today. It was really, really good. And my buns are all toasted up. We are just ready to make sandwiches. And here's our finished plate. We have the sandwich served with a little half slice of cheese on top. This is mine anyway. Some pickles. There is the slaw. It turned out to be really delicious. And some tater tots. And as I have mentioned in this video, cook once, eat twice. We're able to have chicken sandwiches again the next day, and even some shredded barbecue chicken nachos. Those are really, really good too. So if you are in a pinch for time in the summertime, let your crock pot or your grill help you cook a little more than what you need, and then you're able to eat off of it for more than just the one time. That's going to save you some time in the long run, and it's going to be delicious all the way around. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Thanks for always coming back. If you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. If you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next time.